Anthony, so we're doing this series of reports, I told you, live around the 518. We've done some other communities, but this week we're talking about Saratoga Springs. And you graduated from Saratoga High before going on to Notre Dame and then going on to an NFL career, both as an excellent player and now as a coach. What are your memories? What are your fond memories of Saratoga Springs?
Oh, man. Shoot, we're going to be on here for a long time if I go through all those. But the biggest thing I think is just the people. Right, that town and the people in it helped raise me and mold me into who I am. So you're talking about the Blaze Julianos of the world. I had some incredible coaches. Nick Alex, may he rest in peace, who just recently passed away. Coach Dempsey, Guglielmo, Damian Fantozzi. I mean, I can go on and on and on about the positive influences I had there. So the biggest thing to me about Saratoga, and don't get me wrong, there's so many things I love about the city itself, but the people, to me, are what makes Saratoga so special.
And you weren't born there. As I recall, you were born in Texas. You moved there. How old were you when you moved to Saratoga?
Yeah. I was 12. I was 12 years old. Well, my dad was born and raised in Saratoga.
So, but you're 12.
So,
you're 12 at the time you moved there. That could be difficult for a 12-year-old kid to move in. Were they welcoming to you at the time?
Yeah, they were great. I went to Geyser Road, and coincidentally, my teacher was Kurt Decker, who was a huge Dolphins fan, and I'll never forget that. So he was actually reached out when I got the job. He was super excited. Reached out, I think, via Facebook here, or maybe he got my number from somebody. But yeah, no, people were great. People were great. They were very welcoming, and for me, I was an Army brat, so moving was no big deal. I've gotten used to just kind of being personable and trying to find and make friends, but the people there were great, man.
Has that time, you mentioned it, you were an Army brat, so you were moving and had to try to make friends. Has that served you well as a coach? Because communication is so key in coaching.
Without question. I think it's really served me my entire life. You think about the coaching profession, it's very similar to the Army in that you end up moving a lot. Hopefully for good reasons. Unfortunately, in my case, the majority of moves have been for good reasons. But no, when you're going through that as a kid, it is a very difficult situation, right? And you don't realize the dividends it'll pay for you down the road. So I have two boys, 12 and 6, AJ and Justice, who are my absolute world. And they're kind of going through that a little bit right now. And I tell them there will be a time when this becomes a superpower for you. And I know that's difficult for them to understand right now, but down the line, it'll definitely work in their favor.
How often do you get back to Saratoga Springs?
So we get back at least once a year, and this is the first time I haven't been back to Saratoga since 1992. This summer, it was the first time we didn't get on a plane. We didn't close on our house until the middle of June. So we spent the entire summer moving into the house, and we didn't get a chance to come back home to Saratoga. So that one hurts me. That one hurts me in my core. I didn't get to go to Marinos and Romas and Esperantos. Like, there's all these places that if I go a year without having it, I start to crave all these things that I love. So, and I didn't get to visit the people I care about. So, but we'll definitely, I promise you, we'll be there next year as soon as the offseason stops, hopefully after winning a Super Bowl.
And you mentioned Blaze Juliano, you're the head football coach during your time at Saratoga Springs High School before you went on to Notre Dame. Do you keep in touch with all those coaches? Because I know they follow you. You know, we're friends on Facebook, you and I are, and I know they're proud of you. Do they let you know that?
Yeah, they do. They do, and they all reach out and keep in touch. Bob Stolmaker, all of them, man. And actually, most recently when I was with Baltimore and went to the AFC Championship, I made it a point to try to get Barb and Blaze to come to the game because I'm so like he talked me into playing football. Like I was a basketball guy, and he got me to play football. I think it was about 8th grade. So there's so much about this journey that I owe to him, and I wanted to show him how much appreciation I had for him.
Wait, I didn't know that. I had no idea. I followed your career because I did sports here at the station many years ago when you were in high school, but I never knew that. So you weren't a football player originally. You didn't play football until you played at Saratoga High then.
Yeah, you know what? I couldn't play Pop Warner because, as my mom would say, I was a husky kid. I was a basketball kid because that's really, I could play that. There was no weight limit on basketball or anything like that. So Blaze, when I think I was at Maple Avenue. and he was my gym teacher, and we were actually playing basketball one day, and he walked out to the court and he was like, "You need to come try out for football." And I was like, "All right, why not?" And that was the beginning.
Yeah, that was the beginning, and you had all sorts of honors in high school, went on to Notre Dame, 4 years starter at Notre Dame. I think you were an All-American 4 years at Notre Dame, too. Maybe the first defensive 4-year All-American in Notre Dame's history. Do I have that right?
I was the first freshman to start opening day since like Ross Browner.
Wow.
On a defensive line. I don't think anybody's done that since. And I was fortunate to be a second-team All-American. I was on some awesome teams, man.
So what's the future hold for you? Your name did come up several times in the offseason as perhaps a head coach, and I think it's only a matter of time. Is that where ultimately, I know you're focused on Miami now, and I'm happy you're focused on Miami, but ultimately, do you see yourself as a head coach in the league?
You know, if the right opportunity presented itself, then absolutely I would jump at it. But it's never something I've been chasing. I've always just tried to do my best for the team and for these players, and whatever happens as a result of that happens. But it certainly hasn't been something like in the back of my mind, like I got to be a head coach. I want to win a Super Bowl and help whatever team I'm on do that. And currently right now, I love where I'm at. Coach McDaniel is incredible. The culture he's created here is great. And these players we have are chomping at the bit to go get that done. So I'm going to try to do everything I can to be a force multiplier and try to help make that happen.
I have two final questions, and you brought them up. What are your chances? Do you like your chances this year? I mean, you're talking to a Dolphins fan here, but do you have the people, do you have the personnel who can win it all this year?
I think we do. Particularly, I come from Baltimore, and we were obviously incredibly close last year. So from a talent standpoint, I feel like I know the pieces that you need in order to get that done. And I don't think there's anything we're missing here in Miami. So you need the football guys to shine on you a little bit in terms of just health, because it is such a war of attrition. But in terms of the talent and the coaching skill sets and all the schematics that you need in order to be successful in this league, I think we have everything we need.
I hope you're right. And I said one final question, and I do. What do you tell people when people see on your maybe on your Wikipedia or wherever that you're from Saratoga Springs? What do you tell people about Saratoga Springs?
You got to go visit. You got to go visit, preferably sometime in July and August. Go bet on the horses a little bit, and make sure you go to Marino's and grab some pizza.
You're going to end up with an endorsement from Marino's out of this too, probably.
Well, I got to mention some more spots then too.
Anything else you want to add about your growing up in Saratoga Springs and starting football and starting you on this career that has led you to become the defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins?
I just want to let all the kids there know that they are getting the best of the best in terms of just support, and anything they want to do is achievable if they just listen and do their best, put one foot in front of the other, and then chase that dream. So I was wholeheartedly supported in that, and from Saratoga, and I wouldn't change my upbringing for the world.
Anthony, thank you very much. That's very well said. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you hustling from the plane to your hotel so you could join us here for a few minutes.